Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockerill. Thanks for joining us. A recent council meeting has set into motion a plan that has been years in the making. On the January 23rd City Council meeting, Larry Lee presented to members the final draft of the South Loop District Plan.
The South Loop is 2/3 of this city's future for the next 40 years. It's 2/3 of our commercial industrial future, and it's 2/3 of our residential future. So we can never forget to comment how important this district and the plan and the implementation of that plan is for the future of the city of Bloomington.
Lee illustrated to the council what areas of the South Loop District will be used for what purpose, whether it's office space, hospitality-geared businesses, or residential areas. Also, marketing plans for the South Loop District were put forth so contractors and retail organizations may take notice of the visible amenities of the Loop.
Many developers don't even understand how large the district is. They sort of think of the Mall of America and don't realize there's any developable land at all in the district because they come in on Killebrew and Lindau and go out on Killebrew and Lindau and haven't even noticed that there are developable parcels here.
With implementation planned in 10-year increments until 2050, City Manager Mark Bernardson urged Mayor Winstead and council members to recognize the need to take action now.
We'll need to get this perception that Mr. Lee spoke about overcome and get things rolling so people are excited and start developing here. And I think once they get developed and start and we reach a certain critical mass, it will be more attractive for a number of amenities to develop along the lines that Mr. Lee has laid out here than some of those other competing sites. But I think there will be competing sites coming on over the next 10, 15, and 20 years.
Following the city planner's presentation and some council discussion, Mayor Winstead and council members unanimously approved the body of the South Loop District Plan. The implementation will be revisited when that time comes. The wheels of revitalization are turning when it comes to the South Loop District. Now it's time to take a look at two of the area's newest residents on this week's In the Loop segment. Two Cayman crocodiles now call the Mall of America home. The pair arrived at Sea Life Minnesota Aquarium in mid-January and will be featured in a new exhibit designed to give visitors a taste of the Amazon.
When we were thinking about new exhibits that we could do, the woods became a perfect location for an Amazonian rainforest. So it's a 2-story level, almost a third of the aquarium. It's a very large exhibit, and normally times when you think about the Amazon, you think of real dense foliage, big open areas, and that's exactly what we're going to be able to deliver with our new exhibit.
The area currently known as the Minnesota Woods exhibit will soon become Mysteries of the Rainforest. This renovation will finalize the transformation made since Underwater World became Sea Life Minnesota in 2011.
When we had our relaunch and we were completely rethemed as the Sea Life, everything got a brand new, bright, shiny, new aspect of it. And the woods was kind of like that last little bit. So the whole staff is really looking forward to this area that's massive, we see a lot of potential with it, and then giving it that shiny new facelift and renovation and bringing in, again, so the entire aquarium, so our guests from beginning all the way to the end, they're going to have this brand new experience.
The two crocs are sisters. They are a Cayman hybrid species expected to be approximately 3.5 to 4 feet long. They'll likely weigh about 35 pounds and can live for up to 50 years. The crocs, along with piranhas, will remain in holding tanks until the rainforest exhibit launches this spring.
So with bringing in this Cayman species, they always kind of have that ferocious, exciting predator aspect of the Amazon. But the other part of what we do here at the aquarium is dispelling these myths, especially about sharks, and we're going to have some piranha that also have a really bad reputation of being these fierce predators. And now we have this Cayman aspect as well. These guys actually are, like I said, they're absolutely adorable. We will be doing public feeds, so a guest will be able to see them feed, which is always exciting. But for the most part, these guys like to hang out and are really shy, like in some vegetation. They will have a nice basking area. But the biggest part of what we wanted to do is to educate the public about the different animals that you would find in the Amazon.
While Mysteries of the Rainforest is the final piece of the renovation puzzle, it's been a project underway for some time. Jellyfish Discovery, Seahorse Kingdom, and the new Stingray exhibit were also past phases in the renovation. Sea Life Minnesota staff are excited to finally finish the project and show visitors why this attraction was more than worth the wait.
We will be open during construction. There will be some dust particles and things like that, but most of the work will be done at night, so it shouldn't affect our guest experience, or if it does, very minimally. And we're looking to open up before spring break.
As you saw here, construction has yet to begin on the final exhibit being added to the new Sea Life Minnesota, but staff expect crews to begin night work in the next week. Last week on Bloomington Today, we brought you a story about the various tasks public works crews have been able to tackle during this dry winter. One of those tasks being tree trimming. Let's take a closer look at why it's done and how city crews choose which trees need grooming. Take a look. Residents and visitors to Bloomington are surrounded by nature, literally. There are nearly 9,000 acres in the city designated as parks and open spaces. And when outside the parks, you'll find thousands of trees that line the city's roadways. And like anything, those trees need upkeep.
We trim trees here at City of Bloomington to eliminate the hazards such as clearance, storm damage, disease, and structural issues.
Any tree or shrub that has branches that hang over the curb line is subject to city tree trimming. According to Katona, what it ultimately comes down to is the safety hazard posed by the overhanging branches.
There is a great danger. First of all, it damages the vehicles. It can cause the drivers to swerve to avoid hitting them. Also interfere with the maintenance activities such as plowing, seal coating, and sweeping.
During the warmer months, street crews figure out where they'll be doing seal coating and patching work during the next summer, giving them the chance to use the winter months to trim the trees in those areas before the crews begin the actual work. The large trucks and machinery used for seal coating and patching can be damaged if trees hang over the curb line. And while it's the #1 reason, the safety concern isn't the only reason trees must be trimmed. The visual appeal and overall health of the tree can also benefit from proper pruning.
While the aesthetically pruning can be used to shape the tree and give it a balanced form, our main concern is keeping them away from the traffic. And as far as the health benefits from pruning involve the removal of weak unions and poorly attached branches. Pruning out these defects can help prevent failures during storms.
Residents with problematic trees on their property are notified that trimming is needed, and then the operation goes something like this.
We give them 2 to 3 weeks to let us know if they want it done by a professional or we can do it at free of charge. The next process is we come out, we trim the damaged areas, the trees, come by, chip it, clean up the area, and that's our process.
And even though it's chilly, winter is the perfect time to do this pruning. Here's why.
Unlike last year, we were very busy with the storms. This year, with a mild winter, we have the time to get these jobs done. Without the leaves on the trees, it is easier to see the structure of the tree, less risk of disease transmission.
Don't find yourself up a tree. Next time you're outdoors, take a look around your property and make sure your shrubs and saplings don't overhang the curb line. If you have questions about the city's guidelines for tree trimming, contact Street Maintenance at 952-563-8766. Now it's time for another item on our to-do list. This segment introduces residents to various events and activities around Bloomington that will help promote active and healthy lifestyles. This stems from an initiative between the cities of Bloomington, Edina, and Richfield, partnering with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota. Check out what's on this week's to-do list. Snowshoes have helped humans get around during the northern winters for thousands of years. So what better way to stay active this winter than by learning a bit of unique regional history and strapping on a pair for yourself?
Starting with the Native American people that were here, hunters and gatherers, and probably watching I imagine them watching a wolf chasing after a deer, and guess who won that race? Because the deer have that long, skinny foot with a heavy body, the wolf, the big foot for going on top of the snow. So probably nature observations are where a lot of inventions come to be. You got a big foot, you stay on top of the snow. So trying to spread that weight out over your feet, where, you know, we're fairly heavy-bodied. We walk through deep snow and we sink, and it takes a lot of energy to walk through a snowbank, you know, or deep snow. So putting on a snowshoe, it distributes your weight, spreads it out, and so you don't sink as far. And that makes traveling much easier.
Richardson Nature Center in Bloomington is just one of many parks and trails offered to snowshoers within the Three Rivers Park District. Snowshoes are available for rent at this location, and according to Jane, the rest of what you'll need is simple: warm clothes and a sense of adventure to hike the many miles of trail.
Snow really silences sound, and if you want to experience real silence in a wooded area in the wintertime, it's just on snowshoes, it does that for you. And it's, yeah, I think it just helps, you know, that mental attitude of just getting out and being physical.
Well, as you can see, snowshoes have definitely changed over the years. Why don't you start, Jane, by telling us a bit about the different kinds of snowshoes that we see here?
Sure, this is the Ojibwe snowshoe, and this is really what traditional snowshoeing, when you think about snowshoe here in Minnesota, because a lot of the areas where people went snowshoeing was in brushy areas, and you can see where the tip, two pieces of wood that come up, and they would use that tip to move brush aside and get through areas easier.
Okay.
And then this is another style called the Michigan style, and has more of a curved toe and kind of a more bent toe in the front. This would be where there's really heavy, deep snow and kind of a wider foot. So these are great when we have several feet of snow. Okay. And I prefer these actually over the aluminum snowshoes that are more modern today, because they really do spread your weight out much more, okay, and you don't sink as far, and it's just easier walking in really deep snow.
Today's modern snowshoes are no maintenance aluminum shoes with metal grips on the underside, perfect for icy or downhill conditions. Well, obviously the first step to snowshoeing is getting your shoes. If you don't own a pair, you can rent them here at Richardson Nature Center for $5 for an hour. Jane, why don't you show us how to get into them properly?
I would love to. So let's,
okay,
sitting on a bench is always easy. And there is a left or a right.
Okay.
And it's basically wanting your straps on the outside. It's just easier to get them on.
Okay.
So there's not like a shoe, but the first thing you want to do is unbuckle the top piece that just kind of clips open like that.
Okay.
And then there's this heel strap, and you want to loosen that up as much as you can. Just it makes it easier when you step into it.
Okay.
And then you have your toe piece, and I always just loosen that up a little bit.
Okay.
And do that to the other side. I just have them wide open so it's easy for you to step in there with your own boot.
Okay.
So then let's put our right one on maybe first.
Okay.
And get your toe right into that front toe piece on the binding. And you can just snug it up there to that plastic piece that comes over your toe. And these are so easy. You just kind of pull on one side and then pull the strap just to tighten it so it feels tight on your toe, but not too tight because you want to have blood circulation going so your toes don't get cold. And then just pull that piece on the back over your heel.
Okay.
And then just pull that strap till it feels tight on your heel. Do you feel that?
Yep.
And then there's this strap, and these, you know, each snowshoe is a little different, but this strap is kind of nice. It goes over the top and then just clips in like that, so easy. And then you just tie that tight.
Now it's time to get on our feet and get moving. Walking for the first time in snowshoes, if you're not used to it, can be a bit nerve-wracking. How would you teach a beginner that is snowshoeing for the first time how to kind of gain their balance when on snowshoes?
That's a good one. It's almost like having, does it feel like tennis rackets on the bottom of your feet?
Yes, it does.
Because you tend to stand a little bit wider, but it's really just like walking. It's you just have to think about your balance. I know I often will take a pole, especially if the snow is really deep, because if you fall, you can use the pole to push yourself back up.
Okay.
But it also can help with just stability. So I just always tell people, just walk like normal.
Jane says in addition to using a pole or walking stick to help gain your balance, pick your toes up more than you normally would. This will help stabilize you if you're in deeper snow. And after nearly an hour out on the trails of Richardson Nature Center, I can check snowshoeing off my to-do list. Ideally, you need at least 6 inches of snow to get the best experience out of snowshoeing. You should all try this. If you haven't looked around when the white stuff has fallen, winter makes for some truly picturesque scenery in Bloomington. Contact Richardson Nature Center to find local trail information and hours of operation for your family's snowshoeing adventure. It's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by a representative from a local tax preparation office, partnering with Human Services to assist the residents of Bloomington this tax season. Stay right here.
Get up to a 100% scholarship to college and up to $60,000 in assistance. Get paid to learn valuable job skills. Maybe make an extra 20 grand when you join. All while you serve your community and your country. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. We are now pleased to be joined by Erin Severson. Erin comes to us from Accountability, Minnesota. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Well, you know, tax season can obviously be a stressful one for residents and professionals alike. Why don't you start by telling us a bit about what Accountability Minnesota does?
All right, well, Accountability Minnesota has been around. This is our 40th tax season, so we've been around for quite a while within the Twin Cities area. We've been providing free tax preparation and also access to financial services at our agency, and we help low and moderate income families. We work at 12 different locations in the Twin Cities throughout the tax season, and then a few locations throughout the rest of the summer as well.
Oh, wow.
One of our biggest is actually out at Creekside Community Center down here in Bloomington, and so we serve a lot of people there throughout the week, and we can tell you more about that coming up.
Wonderful. Well, you know, oftentimes people believe that, you know, after April 15th, tax season or the income tax deadline, which is obviously April 15th, that your job ends, that you're just done. Is that true?
Not at all. There's definitely people filing tax returns throughout the year, and this year the filing season actually ends April 17th.
Oh.
So we'll be open at all of our locations through the 17th, and throughout the year people are still filing tax returns, whether they missed previous years that they need to file, and a lot of times people forget that that renter's rebate or the property tax return, that one's due in August on the 15th, and so we get a lot of people throughout the summer just filing that return as well.
So really, tax season is year-round for you guys.
It really is,
essentially.
yeah. Yep.
You know, Accountability Minnesota has partnered with Bloomington's Human Services Division for some time now, and that's being, you know, offering residents free tax preparation. Tell us about that partnership.
So we've been partnering with them, this is our 11th year. So
Wow.
they're one of our long-standing partners. They work really well together with us. You know, it's one of our busiest sites, and they've got a lot of services going on at the same time our tax clinic is running. So it's kind of a place where people can come to get multiple things while they're there. So it's a great place to prepare taxes, and we really enjoy it.
It is a very high visibility spot. They have lots of different classes and, you know, things going on there. So that is a good spot for it. So you guys are at Creekside several times a week. When can residents stop in? You know, is it by appointment or no appointment, or kind of talk about that a bit?
So we're at Creekside 3 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evenings, starting at 5:30 p.m. And Saturdays starting at 8:30 a.m. And it is first come, first serve. We don't do appointments because we serve such a large client base. We really just are trying to get in as many people as we can. So once we fill up for the night, that's kind of all we're able to do. But again, we're open 3 times a week, so there's a lot of availability for people to come in.
Absolutely. Well, you know, there's certain qualifications that residents must meet in order to qualify for this free tax preparation. Why don't you tell us about some of those qualifications?
So our qualifications are mainly based off income levels, and we're part of the IRS's VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. So part of that is that we're going by their guidelines as well. So we're able to assist people that make under $30,000 if they're just a single individual. And if you are claiming dependents or you're married, have any type of family like that, then we're able to help you if you make under $50,000 during the year. Okay. We also have a self-employed program, and those do actually have appointments. We only do that out of our main office. So for self-employed individuals making under $50,000, we can help them through appointments at our main space.
Okay. Well, you know, kind of venturing back to what you were talking about at your main office, you know, if someone were to miss the opportunities when you all are at Creekside Community Center, you know, is the best bet just to call your office if they'd like to? Or?
Absolutely. Yep. And we also have on our website, accountabilitymn.org. We've got all of our sites listed so you can find the closest one to your house. And our main office on University and Highway 280 is open the most. So that's why sometimes people enjoy coming there too. We've got a lot more daytime hours available.
Okay, perfect. Well, you've been around the tax preparation business for quite some time. You know, what are the most common myths or mistakes that you find people making when it comes time to get those taxes ready to go?
Right. Well, first of all, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but there are a lot of places to file your taxes for free, like Accountability Minnesota. So going to a paid preparer when you're kind of in a low or moderate income range and paying for that service really can lead to being a mistake, as it incorporates a lot of extra fees and charges when there are people like us out there preparing taxes for free. We work with volunteers mainly. We've got about 600 volunteers, but we put them through 12 to 15 hours of training, and they are certified through an IRS examination. So sometimes we really have more training than other people out there you may pay for. So that's maybe one mistake that kind of, you know, tell your friends and family, come on over to Creekside. Also, you know, people do miss tax credits that they are eligible for, especially if you've got children. You know, there's a lot of tax credits in there. If you're in school, if your kids are in school, if you rent or own maybe your house, there's that property tax refund for that, or renter's rebate that people may not know about. And even if you're not working at a job, there's still some of those credits that you may qualify for.
Okay. Now, when you're preparing your taxes, are you able to do renter's rebate and property taxes right on the spot as well?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
So we're able to do both the federal and Minnesota return, as well as that renter rebate and property tax refund.
Okay.
And we also do work a lot with United Way. We've kind of got a joint initiative called Claim It. And so we're trying to spread the word to make sure that people know about the tax credits they're eligible for. One of the big ones out there is the Earned Income Credit, which you do have to work and have some work income for that one. But that really goes to give back up to 40% sometimes of people's annual income back as a refund through that credit. So we're really trying to always spread the word and make sure that people know to file and claim that credit.
Well, again, it kind of seems like reiterating the fact of having someone doing your taxes that knows the current tax laws and, you know, is well versed in what they should be looking for.
Right.
I think that's probably one of the best ways to get the most back. If you had to narrow down a couple of the most commonly asked questions when you're sitting there helping someone file taxes, what would you say they are?
I would say one of the first ones is, you know, can I claim someone as a dependent or not? People ask a lot of questions about, you know, whether there's been a divorce or a separation, that kind of thing. You know, am I able to claim my children as dependents or my parents or other people that I'm supporting? And we do a lot of training around that so that volunteers can help, you know, people figure out, yes, you can put them on your tax return, or no, you can't. So that's a big question that a lot of people have. Okay. Another one is just, do I have to file a tax return? A lot of people are unsure, or they think, well, I only worked a little bit. I don't really think the IRS needs to see my return. And there are some requirements. Over a certain income, you are required to file a return. But we tell people, even if you worked a little bit, especially if you had some taxes withheld during the year from your paycheck, filing a tax return is a great opportunity to get that withholding back. Along with, you know, all the other things we mentioned, sometimes there's other credits out there like the property tax credit that you could get back even if you didn't work. So a lot of people ask if they need to file.
Okay, well, very good. Well, we'd like to thank Erin for being here with us today. If you have any questions about the free tax preparation with Accountability Minnesota, go ahead and visit the Human Services page on the city website. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
My mom is my hero. She goes into places people want to get away from. She makes everyone safe. But the best thing she can do is come home.
The U.S. Fire Administration reminds you to protect yourself and firefighters. Have smoke alarms on every level and near sleeping areas. Test them monthly. Change batteries as instructed. Install sprinklers. Do your part to get out before firefighters have to come in.
Welcome back, everyone. Bloomington Civic Plaza is fortunate enough to have not one, but 2 art galleries inside its doors. And during Bloomington Today's Arts at the Plaza segment, we like to showcase the changing exhibits in the galleries. From now until March 4th, the Atrium Gallery, located on the 2nd floor of Civic Plaza, has been transformed into a photographer's dream. Bloomington resident Richard Tharood is presenting his black and white photographs from the 1950s, a time he considers to be the golden age of photography. This exhibit, titled I Remember the 1950s, highlights work by an artist with more than 60 years of experience. And according to Tharood, over the years, the technology associated with photography has changed drastically. The artistic concept remains the same. Both the Atrium Gallery and the Inez Greenberg Gallery are free and open to the public. Stop by Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. One Bloomington choir is reaching out to past members for an opportunity they won't want to miss. Calling all former choir members. Angelica Cantanti singers from the past 30 years, that's from 1980 to 2010, are invited to join the newly formed Adult Alumni Choir. This new group, conducted by Nancy Grundall, rehearses once a week and will perform on Sunday, February 26th at 3 p.m. Angelica Cantanti Youth Choirs is heading into its 31st season. This is a nonprofit organization geared toward providing a complete premier musical experience for youth choral musicians. If you're interested in learning more about the Adult Alumni Choir or to find out information about other upcoming concerts, log on to the city's website and keyword search BTAC. That will bring you to the Bloomington Theater and Art Center's page, and that has a direct link to Angelica Cantanti's website. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockerill. Thanks so much for joining us.